So here I am in beautiful Des Moines, about to go into our first meeting with the client, Paolo, Angelica, who's the architect, and Trent, who's the builder. This is a fully integrated design project. So the idea is that we're doing integrated design. So that's the idea behind getting, the builder, architect, and client together in a group to create this ecosystem. Have a funny story about meeting Paolo. Our sons actually play on the same football team. We didn't know that before we got signed up, so that's an interesting connection. Angelica, I've worked with on a competition for affordable housing in Victoria. And Trent and I go way back. We worked on a couple of projects together, and a couple of sustainability projects. Trent was really fun to work with. So really enjoyed that. So looking forward to that. Angelica as well, very engaging and very respectful. Trent is as well. How am I feeling? So there's no design done as yet. So the whole idea here is that we're gonna all buy into the project, all share ownership of the project, including the client. Great having Trent on board because, as a structural engineer, you're often torn between 2 options, 3 options, 10 options, 15 options. And without a builder, you're kind of choosing what you think might be the best way to go based on what the majority of the builders might want to do. But having Trent on board means we can say, do you want to do timber? Do you want to do concrete? In this market where timber is hard to get, should we be thinking about concrete? What's the facade? What's the building methodology? Should we be thinking about mass timber or prefab or stick framing? What's Trent's preferences as well? And as well, Trent, I think, will bring an interesting concept into that about costs, about getting value for money, about taking advantage of everyone's skills. The connection here is Caroline Pidcock. So Caroline, we've all worked together with Caroline, and in actual fact, our original introductions were by Caroline, including my introduction to Trent, probably 15 years ago was through Caroline. So thanks, Caroline. How am I feeling at the moment? Kind of anxious, I suppose, which I love, and uncertain, which I love. I love the uncertainty of this. Even having done this integrated design for, probably 10 years, I still get nervous at these things, wondering about, the client's paying me by the hour, so wanting to contribute. And how am I going to contribute? It's hard to imagine right now how I'm going to contribute because we don't have anything. And I think that's the thing you've got to overcome, I think, in these situations is that you can contribute, and don't worry, it'll play itself out, and you'll find areas to contribute. I'm a good chatter, so often you have to resist the urge to chat and to banter. A lot of this is about listening and understanding, about getting into the head of the client and understanding kind of what the client's thinking. They're here in Des Moines. They have 3 young children. I think all 3 boys from memory, because I did talk to Paolo last week. And chatted on the phone, and obviously had a bit of an introduction from Angelica to Paolo. So I think the main thing I wanted to say was about how I'm feeling right now, about being able to contribute, and that even though I've been here before, it's a bit nerve-wracking, and you've got to thrive off that, I suppose. And I think also got to think about the questioning, how you go about questioning, and not providing too many answers. You don't want to go into these meetings as a know-it-all. I think that's that closes conversations down. What you want to do is you want to trigger, intelligent questions that are based around the project, that kind of trigger an open conversation, that opens conversations up. Basically, you don't want to close conversations down. You want to open conversations up. That's a real skill. There's a bit of nuance to that. You don't want to say, yes, this project requires you to do, timber stick framing. That's what everyone will do, and that's what we're going to do, and that's what we're good at, and that's what we know. And you don't want to go into these meetings with any bias, right? You want the project to unravel and reveal itself through the process. I mean, that's why you do the process. So we don't want to go in there with any prejudices or any biases. I don't want to impose my biases on the project. I know if I want to make money on this project, or if I want to reduce my costs and charge the client more, I know that there's a certain way to go about that. I know exactly how to do that. And I think you've got to put that in the back of your mind. You've got to put that away, put that in your, put it in a box and close it and lock it, right? That's not what this is about. This is about doing the best for the client and understanding the client, listening to the conversation, listening to what their priorities are, and in your head kind of making a success matrix. I often think the best question to ask them, thanks Ron Schwartz, best question to ask them is, what do you imagine, how do you imagine your life will change as a result of this project? How do you imagine you living in this house? What do you imagine, how will it change the way that you live? That kind of might give you a good indication of the success metrics. Whether I get to ask that question or not, I don't know, but in the back of my mind, I suppose that's the fundamental question that you want to ask, is what do they want to, how do they want their lives to change as a result of this work? Yeah, so here we go. Going out now to meet them, so it'll be lots of fun. I actually love this part of the job. So these early stage, it's kind of our specialty and kind of what we specialize in. Garbage truck beside me, so you're probably hearing the garbage. But yeah, here we go. Beautiful, largest concrete arch bridge in the world. Don't know if you can see that, but it'll be should be a lot of fun. All right, thanks.